Hi Leo, this is your October 2015 horoscope with me, Lada from astrolada.com. For everyone who have their ascendant or sun in Leo, make sure you check both predictions for your ascendant and your sun. And if you don't know your ascendant sign, you can find it out from my birth chart calculator at astrolada.com. If you know your time of birth, the ascendant can be found only with the time of birth from the planetary detail table. And if you want more specific astrological predictions, there are transits for 3 years below all the tables on your birth chart calculator. Below all the charts, you can find out your specific. No one else in the world will have the same transits as you. And the birth chart calculator shows them for you, the list of all transits. You can listen to videos that I've made for each transit. And we're shooting from the mystical Canary Islands, which are considered to have been part of the mysterious Atlantis off the coast of Africa. So what is happening in October, Leo? Let's first start with the more big prognosis and prediction for the next year and a half, because the north and the south node of the moon are changing their positions in signs. So it means that the north node of the moon, which is called Rahu also in ancient astrology, is moving into your second house of personal finances and will stay there for a year and a half. And Ketu is always opposite the south node of the moon, which means it will move into your eighth house for a year and a half. And whatever Ketu is, we have to let go of something in that area of our life. And you Leos will have to let go something in regards to resources that come to you from others. How can it manifest? And it might not happen immediately from October, but over the next year and a half. I just want to prepare you and to warn you so you know what to expect and to know what strategy to apply for the next year and a half. Because the nodes of the moon are very important. They're the evolutionary points in the horoscope. And when they move, this is where it shows how to focus most productively your energy in order to have faster evolution and progress. Whatever Ketu is, we have to let go of something. We have to accept things as they are rather than try and change them, and let go of struggling. And first of all, 8th house on the spiritual level rules power struggles with another person. Maybe you were trying to change someone. Maybe you were trying to dominate someone or to use their resources or their skill, and it was not happening. And especially when Ketu is in your 8th house, it's not going to happen the way you want it. And so you have to let go, allow this person or other people and other people's resources that are involved with you somehow, whether it's you having business with someone and your resources together, or maybe it's about resources with you and your partner, or maybe about some inheritance, or maybe about some loan or a bank that you're trying to get money, or maybe you're expecting money from someone who owes you, or maybe you work with people in business partnerships and or work with clients and their money, you're involved with their money. This is 8th house, other people's resources. So instead of trying to make things the way you want them to be in regards to other people's resources for the next year and a half, you focus on, more specifically, on your own personal resources and try to find new resources personally for yourself, because wherever Rahu is, this is where we can make changes. Wherever Rahu is, we can manifest on the material level. So when it comes to other people's resources, you might have to let go of. Maybe if you're a student, your parents are not going to help you anymore, or maybe if you get divorced. I'm not saying all Leos are getting divorced, but for example, I'm giving you one example of how this can play out of other people's resources. Your partner might not have so much money, so you might have to find a new resource through Rahu in the second house to support financial resource that you personally find, a financial resource that is self-sufficient from you rather than depending on another. So instead of relying on others, try to find ways of stabilizing your material situation yourself. And you will have more than ample opportunities for that with Rahu in the 8th house. With Rahu in the second house of your personal finances, and Rahu is joining Jupiter there over the next year and a half, and both Jupiter and Rahu have expansive influence. Jupiter brings you the know-how, the knowledge, the inspiration how to do something, the opportunities. Rahu gives you the ambition, the drive, the inner desire, because Rahu is the dragon's head in mythology, so it's insatiable. It eats, it wants more and more and more. When we have such big desire for something, we achieve it through the power of our desire. So basically, when it comes to finances, your personal finances, your wishes can very strongly materialize But when it comes to you trying to control another person's finances, or relying on such or resources in some way, this can create more power struggles and things that are a bit out of your hands there. You might have to let go of certain shared resource, but you'll discover new ones. And 8th house, as I said, is also power struggles. It doesn't have to be financial. It can be any. 8th house is the house of the battle. So Ketu will help you let go of and detach psychologically and emotionally from certain power struggle that might have been going for years before that. It might be with anyone, maybe with your children or with a partner or something. And all of a sudden, Ketu requires, and Ketu will do it sooner or later over the next 1 year and a half. If you assist with that, it's easy. It's going to be without pain. But Ketu requires that you acquire an attitude of whatever it is. I've tried to change this person. I've tried to, I struggled. I fought with them. I tried to make them, to mold them to my way. Or someone who is trying to manipulate you or to control you. It might be also the other way around. Instead of resisting it, getting angry, frustrated, why is this? At the end, you would accept, okay, my father or my partner, he's like that. I'm leaving it in God's hands. I can't do anything about it. I will focus on my own personal life and self-sufficiency. And if it's God's will, I'll be free from the, malefic or controlling influence or manipulative influence of this person, instead of trying to fight them, to battle them all the time. Or it might be some court case, some fight that has been going for a while that you have to turn your back to. That you have to let go of. And the moment you accept that the person is like that, or the situation is like that, some situation of power struggle, or some situation of mutual finances, you accept it and you say, fuck it, whatever, I don't care. And to really kind of feel detached from it, this is when the resolution comes. This is when the universe, you unblock the huge psychological barrier and God gives his own solution. You allow, because Ketu is a very spiritual, divine planet. Ketu indicates the planet which is God's will, not our will. So the moment you let it go and stop worrying about it, or stop giving a damn about it, and allow it to be as it is, all those 8th house things, other people's resources, power struggles, or even compulsive obsessive behaviors. It might be like something, 8th house is a bit like 12, some substance that has power over you, some condition, psychological condition, obsessive compulsive in a sense, that has more power over you than you have over it. The moment you stop fretting about it and worrying and put it in God's hands, whatever Ketu is, you put it in divine power, you pray for it and you let it be. You pray and you believe it's granted and move on. But even if it's not, you accept. If you're an alcoholic, you accept, okay, I'm an alcoholic, I'm going to stop hiding it and being bad about it, or fretting about it. Or if you have some other obsession or some other person that has power or control over you, the moment you release it, again, as I said, God will, the moment you receive the psychological detachment from that and stop trying to control it, because 8th house is the house of control. The moment you stop trying to control things there, the universe and God gives you the solution. A psychological thing starts unblocking in you, and very soon you will receive, you might be free and released from that. Okay, Leos, so that's the overall influence, but what's happening specifically in October for you? Okay, well, again, your 2nd house is strongly triggered with Mars and Jupiter there. Rahu is getting in, but only at the very beginning, of the 2nd house. And Mars and Venus will pass through October. It's much shorter influence, but it already triggers those themes of self-sufficiency and new creative ideas and they're joining Jupiter there. So one very active planet joins Jupiter. Mars is the planet of your personal willpower and initiative. And whenever Jupiter joins Mars, it increases the willpower and the initiative of the person. Jupiter is this planet that expands. So all of a sudden you kind of might have a drive to expand, to look for new ways of expanding your resources, to look for new ways of stabilizing your material situation. And you'll be able to fulfill those over the next year and a half. But the process can start already from October. And when Jupiter and Mars join together, in ancient astrology, that's a combination for wealth. I'm not saying your Leos are going to get wealthy all of a sudden, but definitely there can be something that through your own personal efforts, you receive some material, what's it called, reward or some material gain, or it might be a new creative idea that comes to you, you know, any of those things. But even, I think that even in October towards the end, when Jupiter joins Venus, the two benefics together in your second house, you'll be able to benefit in some way materially. If you have your own business, maybe more money will come. If your ascendant is in Leo or your sun is in Leo to a lesser degree, or if you're expecting money, it can come from somewhere. Or maybe if you wanted some beautiful possession, you can the first part of the month you can, you know, take things into your hands, into initiative, and by the end of the month you're gonna have this. You would have been able to organize the resources and the finances for this thing. Or if you need some new resources, for example, if you have a business, a fashion, and you need new materials, now is the time to get yourself organized, and you'll find such better resources which will become a source of more wealth and stability for you. Anyway, that's one side of October. The other side is that Mercury and the Sun are in your third house, Leos. So you'll be very busy with communications, with information. And even in September, this trend already starts, like the flow of information increases. You get busier. Third house is a very busy house of doing things, of communicating, of exchanging information, of speaking, communicating, people getting in touch with you. Because Mercury first is retrograde in September and October, so people you haven't heard from can get in touch with you, friends or relatives in some sort, or associates or acquaintances. You can create, you might be arranging certain business. Because if you listen to my video of September 2015, you hear what exactly it means to have Mercury retrograde in your third house. I don't want to repeat it all here, but you're definitely busy organizing, managing, planning something, and you might have to replan a few times, because Mercury retrograde is always about having to have new strategy, new plan, but always you have to redo something a few times, some organization, planning, administrative, talking, writing, anything connected to those things, or any job connected to marketing, advertising, media, administrative work as well gets busier. And Mercury is this planet of communication and organizing anyway, so it's like a double whammy in September and October. In October, you start seeing the results of that hectic work from the middle of October onwards, of those hectic communications. And by the end of the process, you could have increased and systemized your contacts, made them more productive. You could have done quite a good job in regards to all those third house matters, which I said, which is communicating, writing, speaking, media, important conversations that you might have, administrative things, arranging documents and contracts and things like that. Or if you, for example, are in any kind of skills, you might have the need to learn new skills, to develop them more, or to refresh certain old skills and practice them in September and October. And so in October you can manifest them and you can use them for something, and you'll see the results towards the end of October. So that's for you, Leos. Saturn is no longer in a sign where it can affect you. It's actually starting for the next 2 years to support you from Sagittarius. So that's the overall influence for you. I hope I was able to help, and thank you very much. Financial expansion, yay! And subscribe to my channel, by the way, and I will see you next month.